With Forza Horizon finally coming to the PlayStation 5, you now have a tough choice to make if you're in the market for an open world racing game. Which do you buy? The Crew Motorfest or Forza Horizon 5? I've played both extensively and will try to help you with that decision. Hello, I'm Fail, and if you enjoy this video, please consider liking and or subscribing. Progression. Forza is very casual friendly and doesn't have much progression to speak of. You start with a modern Corvette, a Toyota Supra and a Ford Bronco, so you already have a bunch of fast cars, and it's not exactly hard to make money, as the game consistently gives you wheel spins, which are basically Forza's loot box system. So you keep randomly getting other supercars, or at least the money to buy them with, which means that getting a new car isn't much of an achievement. I like Forza's initial gameplay a lot though, working through the variety of races and showcase events, which are brilliant, to unlock for longer races such as the Goliath feels very rewarding initially. The Crew Motorfest leans hard into its summits. Weekly events with leaderboard rewards which keep the game fresh and allow you to try new things often. But there's a catch. You need to buy new cars every week to be competitive, but it's usually easy to get the second lowest rank reward without spending any money, which you'll definitely want to avoid when you're starting out. TCM is a grind. The online grand race gives you about 10k per minute excluding wait times, making it tough to earn lots of money. This means that buying a new car often feels like a real achievement. And on that point, if you have the Crew 2, you are able to import cars from that game to this game at any point, after 100 hours, immediately, whenever you want. Before we move on, I just need people to see this. It epitomises the modern gaming experience and shows why I never bothered with Forza Horizon 5 story missions, which we'll come to in a minute, and why I often complain about Forza Horizon 5 being way too easy. So I've got the steering assist, the braking assist, and automatic gear shifts enabled. I'm going to go into this, use my headphone stand to hold down the W key. W key, of course, being the throttle if you're using a keyboard, which you won't be. Driver tar difficulty is on unbeatable, by the way. I don't know if that affects this particular challenge. Why do you actually get 3 stars? I thought I was going to get 1. I didn't realise that. Oh, for God's sake. I didn't realise how easy this stupid game really is. Why is it so easy? I didn't press a single button and I got 3 stars. So the mission you just saw was part of Forza Horizon 5's stories. Collections of smaller challenges with a bit of voiceover to make it seem like you're becoming a stunt driver or running a taxi service. These were executed brilliantly in FH4 and I honestly think they were one of the best parts of that game. There's a lot of these in FH5 and a few other 1 vs 1 races to unlock cars, but the races you'll usually find around the map are just either circuit races or A to B races and are divided into cross-country, rally, road or street. Motorfest focuses on playlists across different driving categories: JDM, Donk vs Lowrider, Classics, Drifting, and even Formula 1 cars thanks to a Red Bull partnership. All of which come with different challenges. For example, the Classics don't have a sat-nav and you have to navigate by pictures. Some of the racing events force you into interior view and don't give you any interfaces, while also needing to manage a simplified tyre wear and pit stop system. Every event comes with an intro sequence, and most of them are really cool. There's even an intro from Yuki Tsunoda, the Formula 1 driver. There's some YouTuber playlists which you might like, and locked behind the DLC, even a police chase mode. But here's the biggest difference between Forza and Motorfest, apart from the physics which can be summarised to Horizon 5 is mostly realistic, Motorfest is mostly arcade. Motorfest has motorbikes, planes, boats and helicopters, as well as cars, which you can swap to while driving. That is probably my favourite feature, being able to swap to a plane while you're driving, or land your plane and immediately swap to a car. But I do wish they had more playlists for non-car vehicles. Jets were just added to the game, so that wish might come true. Motorfest also has a clearer path to what you could call 100% completion, with a finite number of challenges like drive from A to B in under 5 minutes, while Forza sort of throws content at you endlessly. There's so many accolades to unlock, and there's even a challenge to take a photo of every single car. Forza also has weekly events, but they're a lot less varied than Motorfest's, and I find them to get more tedious more quickly. They do have a custom event every week, which is usually fun, but once I've done that, I'll leave it, because unless there's a car to unlock, which in Forza Horizon 5 only requires you to do a certain number of the weekly events, rather than being in the top 10,000 players like TCM does. Oh yeah, one small thing, if you're planning on using a sim racing wheel, I've got a whole video on this coming out tomorrow, somehow the Crew Motorfest feels better despite the physics being a lot more arcadey. With a lot of adjusting you can get FH5 to feel good on a wheel, but somehow even then it feels weird and unintuitive compared to Forza Horizon 3 and 4, which both felt amazing out of the box. But on that front, your mileage may vary. I have heard similar complaints from other people using other wheels too though, so I thought I'd mention it. Multiplayer and online, Forza wins by miles with its better and larger convoy system and more varied online modes. Drifting, online racing, where the game tells you what type of car and track you can pick, online racing where you're allowed to choose that yourself, time trials, which are called Rivals, a Battle Royale style game modes called the Eliminator, and my personal favourite, playground games and mini games, which are just the best thing ever. Check out my Win Games playlist for proof. Oh yeah, and Forza generally has faster matchmaking in my experience, but it also doesn't wait for the lobby to be full, which probably explains that. Example, on screen now, only one other player. Motorfest's multiplayer is a lot more limited. 4-player crews, no real cross-platform, so if you play on an Xbox you can't play with your friend on a PC. And there's also strange restrictions like not being able to enter events together if your cars are too different. For example, we wanted to race a 1990s BMW M3 against a 2017 BMW M2, and it wouldn't let the cars into a race together, despite both being Street Tier 1. However, the Grand Race and Demolition Derby modes are massive fun. More proof of that on my channel if you look for it. And they're both surprisingly balanced. In the Grand Race, for example, the cars are upgraded/downgraded by Ubisoft so that they're more or less equal, and it doesn't really matter what car you take. Forza offers a deeper upgrade and tuning system. You can adjust individual roll bars, for example, and it gives you a variety of tyre options that actually affect how the car behaves. You can all-wheel drive and engine swap cars and give them roll cages, and real-world rims can be installed. For some reason the menus can be painfully slow though, even on high-end PCs. But it's been like that since the start. Visual customization is lacking compared to Motorfest, whose visual mods are just ridiculous fun, but Forza's livery editor is just worlds ahead. Definitely the best in any game. Motorfest has a really weird upgrade system involving you getting parts after each event, but you don't actually have enough space to keep them all, so they go to a stupid postbox thing and then you spend hours deleting parts you don't want. It's a mess, I really don't like it. So the world and environment, graphically speaking, both games are stunning, no point comparing them on that. If I had to choose one though, I'd go with the Crew Motorfest. Its lighting is a lot more vibrant and stylised, which I personally like, and the weather effects are amazing. You can actually, if you're on a mountain, you can watch a storm roll in and develop, and the lightning and hear the thunder. It's really well made. Motorfest's map also feels more fun. It has stunt ramps scattered across Hawaii and a lot of Easter eggs to discover, but it can feel a bit dead because there aren't any humans outside of the main stage and racetracks. There's also a lot lower animal population than Forza, or even the Crew 2, which nailed the feel of having an animal and human population despite the absolutely huge map. Forza's Mexico map has better drift roads and human NPCs to add atmosphere, but feels extremely empty in the middle. The edges are beautiful. You've got canyons, rainforests, beaches, dunes, a city, but the centre is just dead. There's nothing there. If you like off-roading, Forza isn't the game for you. There's not that much interesting terrain, and the rally trails are few and far between, whereas TCM has some absolutely spectacular routes for rallying. If you want rally, however, there is a DLC you can buy for Forza Horizon 5, the map for which is brilliant. Some of the best roads in the entire game, and very fun, even if the expansion doesn't take long to complete. The other expansion, however, Hot Wheels, was very much a disappointment. I played FH3's Hot Wheels, and that was amazing. I'd go as far as to even call it perfect. Horizon 5's Hot Wheels is bigger than 3's, but it feels way less intuitive. And it also seems less natural, probably because it's in the sky instead of on the collection of islands. And sometimes, although they seem to have mostly fixed it, if you go too fast, the cars will clip through the track and crash, which makes the whole thing sort of pointless. This was never a problem in Horizon 3. Why is it now? We haven't got any paid locations in the Crew Motorfest yet, but they did give us the island of Maui for free, and I very much enjoy driving around it, especially the recently added Red Bull playground. I don't know what to call this, so we're just calling it The Vibe. A section for which I couldn't quite come up with a title and is very subjective, so please let me know your thoughts in a comment down below, and for everything else I've spoken about today. Motorfest feels like it was made by people who just love cars and want you to have fun. It's really as if the game itself had a personality. It's an absolute laugh to play. Forza Horizon 5, meanwhile, is incredibly well made, apart from some things like the rewind system not being broken and the devs knowing about it but not wanting to fix it, and leftovers from Horizon 4 which could have been but weren't deleted. Like, there's a button to invite everyone on your map. It doesn't do anything! This was a feature in Horizon 4, it's not a feature in Horizon 5 anymore, they got rid of it. Why is the button still there? I'd even go so far as to call the vibe of Horizon 5 a bit corporate at times. It's a fantastic game, but I don't really feel much passion behind it. In Forza, you'll be paying for car packs, even with the Ultimate Edition, which I really dislike the idea of. But Motorfest has paid content too, like the police chase mode and season passes to get cars early, but they also let you try the stuff in free for the summits, which I like, even if it is basically an advert. You may not find this a problem, but in my opinion, Forza has a bit of a bloat problem. There's this thing called Horizon Super 7, for example, which is just Event Lab Lite. It made sense for Horizon 4, where Event Lab wasn't out yet, but it should have probably been removed since. The newly added Horizon Realms is good fun, but it's too in your face as soon as you open the pause menu. You've got houses you can buy, but they don't actually do anything. It's not like the Crew 2 when you could walk around and display your cars. It's a glorified pause menu that you can access by driving to a house instead of going into the menu and pressing go to festival. You still have Horizon Arcade, which used to be one event every hour. But now it's every 15 minutes and there's multiple of them at once, so no one bothers to play them anymore. It used to feel like a full-on car meet for the server, where like half the server would turn up in whatever car and you could hang out. It was great fun. But now it's just an annoying pop-up that you try to avoid. The Crew Motorfest has the opposite problem. There just isn't enough stuff to justify full price in my opinion. 15-20% off sale, definitely worth trying out, but not full price. Unlike Forza, which won't be adding any more content, there is regular updates coming with new cars, playlists and even locations, but I really don't like this player retention based business model that the Crew and a lot of other modern games have. In terms of longevity, Forza has an ace up its sleeve: Event Lab. Basically, any starting point, and even a separate map which is just a huge flat surface, you can create your own route, add your own props, recreate tracks, build parkour maps, anything you want, within some constraints naturally. TCM has nothing like this. The Crew 2, you were able to make your own routes at least, so I imagine it will come to Motorfest eventually, but we're 2 years in and it's not here. Why not? So, now is time for the verdict. I'm gonna say, if you want a car game to actually drive around and race street cars, enjoy messing around with tuning options or like taking photos or designing paint jobs, go for Forza Horizon 5. If you want to have fun and freedom to mess around with cars in a massive playground, enjoy a more arcadey feel, or just want motorbikes, planes or boats in your game, or even just want a game that's actually challenging at times, go for the Crew Motorfest. But which do I prefer? After 1,500 hours in Forza Horizon 5 and 350 hours in the Crew Motorfest, for me it's simple, it all comes down to this. The Crew Motorfest for single player, and Forza Horizon 5 for multiplayer. Thank you for watching, let me know what you think in a comment down below, or if you have any questions. Please consider liking the video or subscribing for both Forza Horizon and Motorfest videos. Have a nice day, goodbye.